Hi guys, now last week we did a video covering as many different Temu wheel cleaning brushes as possible. Now we had a budget of £25, we did go slightly over and we spent £29 on all of these brushes, and there were a couple of exceptions that simply just didn't turn up in time. Now I really want to focus on just a handful of these tools today because we've got a Ford Focus over there and I want to be carrying out a bit of a deep clean on the exterior, and it has got not a lot of space to work with those barrels. So I've picked my top 5 wheel cleaning brushes that I got from Temu and we're going to put them to the test.
So no messing about here, we're jumping straight in with this one, and I'm first applying some 2-in-1 wheel cleaner and fallout remover onto the alloys and following it up with a brand new product called wheel foam. And the thing that makes this foam so unique is it has one of the longest cling times that I've ever seen for such a product, and I will cover this later in another video. Anyway, I'm starting off with the soft bristle brush, so this isn't something I would use on every single wheel, but I can see its benefits, especially when you're cleaning those glossy black alloys, as those bristles are so soft they're not really going to damage any of the surface. And for the first attempt I had no bristles dropping out and nothing was really problematic at all, so considering I paid about £1.59 for this brush, I was quite impressed. The nut brush raised a few eyebrows for me because although it does have stiff bristles, I can definitely see where this will work when you clean your wheels, because it really does tackle deep into those areas where the nuts often are, and that's just purely because normally whenever you clean your wheels, that's the one area that often gets overlooked. So it did a decent job, but you just got to be very careful with delicate alloys.
Now for the barrel brush. To be fair, it is nice and long, so at least you can get all the way to the back if you've got really deep barrels on your alloys. That feels quite stiff. That doesn't feel as flimsy as I was expecting. Like I said, the only drawback, and I say it all the time with these brushes, is as soon as you pull it back, you get splashback, and it's awful when you get it on your face, and it makes your clothes stink. It feels nice and solid, it doesn't feel flimsy. The only thing that does feel a little bit weak is the handle, but in terms of the stiffness of this wire in the middle, I'm quite impressed actually. Let's go for the rim brush.
I wasn't really a fan of this one. The short length made it so difficult to reach the back of the barrels, and the handle felt so fragile, so I won't hold my breath on this one. In terms of stiffness, the internal wire was pretty good, but with any of these brushes, they start to fail after a few attempts. The first thing I noticed about the wheel mitt was the amount of water it could absorb. It didn't feel poor quality at all. And I got around the wheels nicely, and the fibres are very similar to the bog standard wash mitts you find at every retailer.
So these 5 tools performed better than I was expecting. Considering I paid about £10 for the lot of them, I wasn't really hoping for much, but please take this with a pinch of salt because they really are just my first impression. How much longer these are going to last will be purely down to how much you use them. The problems that you will find with these wired brushes is, after a while, once they've started to get wet and they start rusting away, they soon depart from the handle, and unfortunately you can't really use them again. Well, you can, but you just don't use the handle, and it's a bit of an inconvenience. As for the soft bristle brush, I've heard some reviews saying that the bristles fall out of them. It could just be luck of the draw. This one I have here in my hand is actually fairly decent. The lug nut tool, although it's not going to be everybody's cup of tea, I actually thought it was pretty good. Just don't go using it on glossy black alloys if you've got a bit of a shaky hand, because you would scratch them quite easily. And then we have the wheel mitt as well. It was nice and comfy to use. It was small enough. It had a nice dense foam to it as well. There was nothing I really didn't like about it. And on the plus side, again, none of the fibres came out. So I feel if you are somebody on a tight budget, these are going to be pretty good if you're just going to use them now and then. As long as you make sure that you give these a good dry out afterwards, you should be okay for a good few months. But just don't hold your breath if you think they're going to last forever. If you really do want to spend a little bit of extra money and go for the professional tools, then seriously, you cannot beat the wheel woolies. And as always, if you want to know where I get any of my products that I feature in all my videos, I will put links in the description below. Now, if you're somebody who wants to know a little bit more about the whole wheel cleaning process, then you can go and watch this video right here.